and welcome back. We're in our review now, so we're starting review 4 from the Workbook A Course in Miracles, and today's lesson is 141. So I'm going to get straight into it. There's a link under this video if you want to read the information later on yourself. All the information's there. So let's get straight in. So our introduction to the review is, now we review again. This time aware we are preparing for the second part of learning, how the truth can be applied. Today we will begin to concentrate on readiness for what will follow next. Such is our aim for this review and for the lessons following. Thus we review the recent lessons and their central thoughts in such a way as will facilitate the readiness that we would now achieve. There is a central theme that unifies each step in the review we undertake, which can be simply stated in these words: my mind holds only what I think with God. That is a fact and represents the truth of what you are and what your Father is. It is this thought by which the Father gave creation to the Son, established the Son as co-creator with himself. It is this thought that fully guarantees salvation to the Son. For in his mind no thoughts can dwell but those his Father shares. Lack of forgiveness blocks this thought from his awareness, yet it is forever true. So yes, in this thought, in knowing my mind holds only what I think with God, we're realizing we are a co-creator, and so the realness of our lives is when we are at one with Source, with the universe, with God, in our minds. And when we feel a link with that, the thought and God, then we are on the same page. We're in the real world. Let us begin our preparation with some understanding of the many forms in which the lack of true forgiveness may be carefully concealed. Because they are illusions, they are not perceived to be, but what they are. Defences that protect your unforgiving thoughts from being seen and recognised. Their purpose is to show you something else and hold correction off through self-deceptions made to take its place. And how true is that? Because we have so many thoughts in our minds every day. We're thinking all the time, thoughts, thoughts, thoughts. And we attach ourselves to those thoughts. So then they become real, when really they're just thoughts going through our minds. But they can change the way we suddenly start being in the world. But they can change us into someone angry, or someone happy, someone sad, someone, irritated, frustrated. That's because we've given those thoughts power. We've taken them on and we've become them. Rather than just allowing them to flow, we start being one with the wrong mind. Whereas in the right mind, the mind with God, things start to flow. And you know that because you just feel this peace. That's when you're at one with your Creator. And yet your mind holds only what you think with God. Your self-deceptions cannot take the place of truth. No more than can a child who throws a stick into the ocean change the coming and the going of the tides, the warming of the water by the sun, the silver of the moon on it by night. So do we start each practice period in this review with readying our minds to understand the lessons that we read and see the meaning that they offer us. Begin each day with time devoted to the preparation of your mind to learn what each idea you will review that day can offer you in freedom and in peace. Open your mind and clear it of all thoughts that would deceive, and let this thought alone engage it fully and remove the rest. My mind holds only what I think with God. So we're starting our review with that. And that is to almost have a clean out of the thoughts that are currently going on, so that the mind has become sort of an open vessel ready to receive the lessons that we're going to go over and review today. So that is the start of the review, to ready our minds, open it up to the vessel with God so that we can then start living our truth. So 5 minutes with this thought will be enough to set the day along the lines which God appointed, and to place his mind in charge of all the thoughts you will receive that day. They will not come from you alone, for they will all be shared with him, and so each one will bring the message of his love to you, returning messages of yours to him. So will communion with the Lord of hosts be yours, as he himself has willed it be. And as his own completion joins with him, so will he join with you, who are complete as you unite with him and he with you. And there is something about when you're in a dualistic sort of in with two beings, the light and creator, working together makes something wonderful, you know? Two minds connected as one. That's what you are. You're two minds at the moment, and you can't get anywhere like that. You've got to be the one mind. Then you become this kind of, this creator that really is the divine being. After your preparation, merely read each of the two ideas assigned to you to be reviewed that day. Then close your eyes and say them slowly to yourself. There is no hurry now, for you are using time for its intended purpose. Let each word shine with the meaning God has given it, as it was given to you through his voice. Let each idea which you review that day give you the gift that he has laid it for you to have of him. And we will use no format for our practicing but this. So yeah, we're reading, first opening our minds with my mind holds only what I think with God for 5 minutes, giving that time to clear out the mind. Then we're closing our eyes and we're going to be taking in today's two lessons that we're reviewing and letting them really sort of come into that oneness in what they really are. So each hour of the day, bring to your mind the thought with which the day began and spend a quiet moment with it. Then repeat the two ideas you practice for the day unhurried, with time enough to see the gifts that they contain for you and let them be received where they were meant to be. That is the challenge for me, the unhurriedness, because I kind of find myself like, it's like life seems to be always like going so fast, doesn't it? And suddenly when you've got to sit and give yourself the time, my mind, even though I'm sitting there, it wants to go, it wants to get on to the next thing that it's been spending its life, you know, focused upon. It needs to, the shift comes when you do allow yourself even just that 2 minutes, but in the 1-2 minutes of time that you do allow for these practices, you do it in a calm, unhurried manner. That's the key. So I don't know about you, but yeah, that's my challenge, to really sort of stay in that stillness and allow it to really unfold. We had no other thoughts but these, but let these be the messages they are. We need no more than this to give us happiness and rest and endless quiet, perfect certainty in all our Father wills that we receive as the inheritance we have of him. Each day of practicing, as we review, we close as we begin, repeating first the thought that made the day a special time of blessing and of happiness for us, and through our faithfulness restored the world from darkness to the light, from grief to joy, from pain to peace, from sin to holiness. God offers thanks to you who practice thus the keeping of his word, and as you give your mind to the ideas for the day again before you sleep. His gratitude surrounds you in the peace wherein he wills you be forever and are learning now to claim again as your inheritance. So that's our practice then. So we've got 5 minutes in the morning to clear our minds, open it up, ready to allow these lessons to come in, and then we're going to be repeating the two messages in our minds, closing our eyes in an unhurried fashion and allowing those thoughts to really be our truth and to connect with the oneness as we hear it. So the messages comes. It's like we're mixing a wonderful recipe, and when we pop in, it's like we've started with a beautiful cauldron, nice, clean, shiny, ready to put these two ingredients, the two lessons in, and then the creator comes in and it just whips it all together so it becomes a beautiful, idea in the mind that then allows us to move forward with that way of thinking. So we're doing that first thing in the morning, and then we are doing a minute every hour or two, to just allow what we've learned in the morning, remember it again, give yourself that quiet time, just go over the lessons again and allow it just to sink in each hour, let it come into your mind, and then end the day with the two lessons again, opening your mind to a clear vessel, putting in those two lessons, and then allowing that to unfold into beauty, and then going to sleep, you know, with that beautiful thought ending your day. And so the two lessons that we're asked to put into our minds today are lesson 121, forgiveness is the key to happiness, and 122, forgiveness offers everything I want. So these two lessons, as we went over in the deeper sessions, really are a way of letting go of all the grievances, all the things we think the world should give us, what we should have, you know, and forgiving ourselves, forgiving others. As we forgive, in each forgiving moment, we're releasing ourselves from the thoughts, because a lot of thoughts have these attachments to it with problems and irritations and things like that. They're all things aren't right in the world, you know. It's like forgiveness clears all of that. Forgiveness lets all of these ideas the mind wants to make into a meaning that is not of the truth become real, and it's not real. We have to use forgiveness to let them go. It's like just gently brush them aside with forgiveness is the key to happiness. It's going to bring you joy when you do all these forgiving, and forgiveness offers everything I want. And it really does. It brings you to that place of joy, peace, when you can allow forgiveness to be the truth of what it is. You know, when you forgive someone else, you're forgiving yourself at the same time. So in forgiving, remember, two things are happening. It's not just you're not higher or any better than anybody else. Forgiveness is just a letting go of the thoughts, letting them go, realizing they were not real. They had no meaning. And when you do that, you are released. You're released from the suffering, from the constraints that you've put onto yourself and on others and on the world as a whole. You know, you let it all go. You're then surrendering. Forgiveness allows you to surrender to the harmony and to the peace of what you are. And these words might all sound very floaty, fluffy and whatever, but they are really the only words we've got, I guess, to explain what actually connecting with the oneness really allows us to be. You know, these words are what we have to express what it feels like to be in that energy of peace, in that energy of joy and happiness. Those words, happiness, joy, peace, represent those feelings that we have. We may have other words, you know, we could put onto it, serenity, you know, whatever it is for you, what would help you, you know, realize that state, because words can be powerful if they can be used in the right way to connect you back home, rather than a false perception of what happiness is believed to be, you know. So yes, just forgive all the words, forgive people in the world, just forgive. That's the key today. Open your mind, forgive, and have a beautiful day. And we'll be back tomorrow for another review. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye.